quick update here on ICP. Before we get in, if you haven't already, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell. I've been trading here, guys, for 5 years full time, and I'm literally giving you my trading ideas for free on YouTube. So go on ahead now and click that subscribe button, and let's dive in. So we've got the chart here on ICP USD on the weekly time frame. But before we do dive into that, we're just going to take a quick look at Bitcoin here, because there has actually been something that has occurred in the last sort of 24 hours. So just briefly here on the weekly time frame. So we're in a bull market, we are in an uptrend, we're making higher highs and higher lows, and we're above our EMA band. So nothing really has changed here on the weekly time frame. We do remain in an uptrend, right? However, there is a couple of warning signals, as I have been talking about for quite a while here on the channel. The first one is that we've got this bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, whereas we're making higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. And eventually, this could eventually bring the end to the bull market. However, it's not a sell signal just yet, because these can take weeks and months to actually play out. And in fact, if we look back previously, if you had have sold, when you first of all saw this bearish divergence in the last cycle, you would have missed the crazy alt season. So it is not a sell signal on its own, but it's a caution signal. It's letting you know that time is running out. But oftentimes, the last part of the bull run is the most parabolic. So it isn't a sell signal, but it's just a cautionary signal telling you that things could go wrong eventually in the coming months. All right. We had also tapped this massive line of resistance, which we have had for multiple years, almost a decade, in fact. And obviously that's shown up as key resistance here in the short term. So if we zoom out here, we've been holding this level at about 90k, and you can see we've been sort of ranging around sideways, no real direction. But the one good thing is that we're actually holding the line here, and you can see this by all these wicks to the downside. See all these long wicks to the downside? That is what we want to see. That's Bitcoin holding the line. Every time the prices fall back to this level, this 90k level, buyers have picked it up and pushed it back up again with our most recent one in the last couple of days. And that actually brings me nicely to the daily time frame. And so this, it's not guaranteed yet, but this potentially looks like a capitulation wick. See the way we've had all this chop around, but always kept above this level, this 90k level. Yesterday, we had a pretty significant drop in Bitcoin, and we made this candle with this huge wick to the downside. Now, this wick looks significantly bigger than the other wicks, and also there was a lot of liquidity here around this 90k level, which we were seeing on the liquidation heat map. There was a lot of liquidity around this level, and it has now tagged that and pushed it right back up. So I have actually entered a small long position on Bitcoin, and it's a little bit risky, I'm not going to lie. Like, I have my stop loss literally right below this low here. So that's a 10x leverage trade. Now, I have only allocated 2% of my trading account to this, so it is a risky play. The price could very easily come back and test this level, but just given the nature of this wick, because it's wicked way past the rest of this level that we've been holding for so long, I've just jumped in here because a lot of people would have got liquidated here. A lot of people would have had their stop losses just below 90k. And so whenever I saw this wick go down here, once today, the daily candle today opened, I entered a small long position there, looking for the upside. Now, it could very easily invalidate me here because my stop loss is literally below the wick. So we're just going to see how that actually does play out. But basically, that could be a good signal, this long wick. But again, we're still in a range, guys. And until we break out of this downsloping trend line, we remain in a range. So I expect basically chop until we break out of this downsloping trend line. Or it could also be a breakout of our RSI here, this downsloping trend line in our RSI. But again, we remain choppy until we see either a breakup of this trend line or a breakdown. If we do see a breakdown, we'll be targeting that 84 to 74k level. All right, so basically Bitcoin chopping around, no clear direction here in the immediate short term. If we go over to ICP then and zoom out to the weekly. So ICP on the weekly time frame, we are above our EMA band, just about. I mean, we're holding on for dear life above our EMA band here, and basically we need to keep above this guy. See this EMA band here on the weekly time frame? We cannot close weekly candles below this because that would be very, very negative. Like you see, the last time this happened was in June of 2024, and catastrophic loss followed. So we absolutely need to hold the line here. And so far we are doing that. We haven't closed really below the CMA band, but yeah, we'll see how this looks on Sunday night, because yeah, this candle needs to close above that level, which is basically at $10. Our RSI is still above our midline here, the white line here, which is good. Not going to lie, that is good, and we're holding as support. Again, similarly to what we were talking about in the price action here, we don't want to see our RSI on the weekly time frame start closing below this midline, because generally, if you look at the midline of the RSI, anytime you see the RSI closing below the midline, generally further downside is in store. And equally, the inverse is also true. So if we look back here in October of 2023, once you saw that break up above the white line, the midline, it signified the start of a good bullish trend. All right. So we are now still above that, which is good. So on the weekly time frame, we are technically still looking good, but it could turn very quickly if we start seeing candles close below this sort of $10 level on the weekly time frame. If we go down to the daily then, so we are currently slightly overextended to the downside away from our EMA band here. So a retest of that EMA band is likely in the coming week, because generally speaking, this acts like a magnet. Anytime whether you're in an uptrend or a bull, or whether if I can get my words out, whether you're in an uptrend or a downtrend, generally the price always likes to come back and retest this EMA band. So we're currently, I believe, about 15% below right now. Okay, we're about 10% now, but we were yesterday. So once you're sort of 15 to 30% below the EMA band, generally you're due for a retest. We almost went down to the support that I mentioned to you yesterday, which was falling at $9, basically in line with this upsloping trend line and also this prior wick, basically $9. We didn't quite make it, but I mean, we came 5% away from my target. So maybe that's it. I don't know, but again, I do think if we don't hold this level here at $9.30, basically you're going to be targeting this trend line / that low there at $9 to $8.80. But if we just zoom into the 4-hour time frame, we're still carrying out this this relief rally from the oversold signal that we mentioned yesterday. Now, for the moment, this is still a relief rally. Nothing has really changed here in the short-term trend. The short-term trend, guys, on ICP on the 4-hour time frame is to the downside. We remain below our EMA band, and we also remain below our 200 SMA on the 4-hour time frame. And generally, see, when you're below this grey line here, the 200 SMA, generally it means downside is in store until you actually break above that. So what would sort of change the trend here, guys, if we start seeing ICP breaking above $11, that would be sort of start to give us signs that we're going to move more to the upside. But for the moment, that hasn't confirmed. So ICP is expected to range at best or continue to the downside at worst. But again, you've got your target there at $9 in line with this trend line and our prior support level. So I'm going to leave this video here. If you enjoyed it, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.